In the early morning light, we head out on our way. Brenton and his dog Wavy, ready for the day. Through the backwaters and back roads, where the wild things grow. Every turn's a new adventure, with stories left to show. Backwaters and back roads, with Brenton and Wavy, where the rivers run deep and the trails are kinda shady. With every step we take, another memory unfolds. In the heart of the country, where the spirit never grows old.
Well, good morning, guys and gals. I want to show you what's going on this morning. So it has been dumping buckets and thunder and lightning since probably 5 o'clock this morning here off of Jekyll Island, Georgia. And we're on the hook, obviously, north of the bridge. And Wavy does need to go to shore, and I'm trying to figure out, well, more than figure out, I'm just trying, praying, hoping there might be a break on the rain for a minute, because I don't even know if she could. Could you pee in this? Or would you just be miserable? You look so pathetic. And the pudgy's filling full of water. Can you hear that on the roof? Build your shanty really good so when this stuff happens you can just stay nice and warm and dry. Wavy Gravy, do you want to go outside? Come on. Go ahead. I think you're going to hate it. Want to go outside? I don't blame you. And somehow it's even raining harder. Look at this. This is like a wall. This is a torrent. A torrential downpour. Somehow it just starts raining harder. Look at this. Well, I think today's turning into kind of a day in the life on a shanty boat when you can't even go outside. I just went out and grabbed the pan out of the dish bucket and I got completely soaked in about 5 seconds. This is more than a rainstorm. I guess we're going to test to see how much weight the Portland Pudgy can hold before it sinks. I'll get out there and pump it. Okay guys, we are passing through or by another inlet. It's always a little bit nervous, as you should be, but I mean, we're gonna be fine. But I just figure I'll document it for you. There it is out there, the real ocean. And there's quite a few of these all up the East Coast actually, so we got some rollers, but that's okay, we can handle them, and we got a wind at our back. And the last thing I'll mention is I see a lighthouse out there. As we get closer, I'll try to get a little footage from a distance for you. There's a lighthouse out there we will not be able to visit. Sorry guys, too far away. Good morning guys and gals. So I figured I might as well show you this. We are going into an area here in Georgia where it doesn't look like there's any easy gas to get for a while. So I just pulled up the anchor. So I'm gonna go and just top off the capacity I have, which is like another 7 or 8 gallons. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna attempt to do it. Okay, so this is where we anchored last night. I gotta get Wavy to shore here ASAP. Anchored in a little spot behind, see all those trees? That's a rare little island there. There was like a windbreak. We were able to ride out the windstorm last night. So we are right here, and you might be able to see, hopefully. And there's like a little side chute over here, and then there's less than a mile, there's a little road that goes over to a gas station. We're gonna try to do that, and I'll try to take you along. Stay tuned. There's our little windbreak. Thank you. Okay, so far so good on depth. Looks like we're doing good. More than I was expecting. Okay, I was looking this dock up on maps, and it looks like it's private and belongs to maybe like a farm or something. I'm gonna walk up the road, and if I see anybody, I'm just gonna instantly ask, or just explain what we're doing, and hopefully they're okay with it. It looks like this guy's a crabber. I saw this gate coming, and I got worried for a second, but then I realized that the road turns, so we're not out of luck yet. I'm not jumping any gates. Okay, guys. According to maps, it's less than a mile to the gas station, so. And it's a beautiful day. The wind calmed down. So, let me explain to you a couple things in the past couple days that I haven't really got to chronicle. So, when we were up at Jekyll Island, or I'm sorry, down at Jekyll Island. This is like a big estate, guys. I'm probably trespassing. I'm gonna have to ask somebody. I wish I could have filmed that, guys. So I went up to the door, and there was a young lady on the phone there in the window. She came out, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I don't mean to startle you." And I explained to her, I'm like, "There's a gas station right there." She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I just tied up to your dock there, and can I just go fill my can?" And before I could even ask it, she's like, "Yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, no problem." Just being friendly and smiley. And like, sometimes I guess ask permission when you can, right? That's the lesson here. And Wavy gets quite the walk this morning. They've got an amazing piece of property. Man, I don't want to bust out and film this too much, but they just got this major estate back here, and they got their own pond and this beautiful farmhouse and outbuildings, and wow, they never have to go to town. They're going to survive the apocalypse, guys. Okay, so they do have a gate, but it wasn't locked. It does say no trespassing on that side. I just left it cracked for when we come back. I am so glad we're going through this trouble. I'll show you on the map why this section I felt like I need to carry as much gas as I possibly can, because up to basically Savannah, looks like there's maybe one or two marinas possibly, but I'm just trying really hard not to rely on marinas at all. I've had marinas, let me turn the phone. I had a marina tell me, because I wanted to get like 7 gallons of gas, that wasn't. Their cars went by. I had a marina tell me that it wasn't worth their trouble. They're like, 7 gallons is not even worth my trouble. I think it's because I was trying to use my card, right? There's a service charge. And it's like, that's fine. And here's the little gas station, and check this out, guys. It's Wavy's treat store. And I can go get her some treats. Not like she needs them. Okay, guys, we got a little over 7 gallons. That's like a day's worth of movement at 5 miles an hour. Had to listen to a bunch of commercials. Now we're gonna pop over to the Wavy's treat store, the dollar store. Looks like they're getting a little low. This works. Well, this is quite the convenient little stop. I'm gonna try to show you this, guys. So there's a trailer park there. There's a development there of like kind of stick-built high, homes. What would you call that? Like a subdivision. We're outside of Brunswick, Georgia right now, if I haven't mentioned that. There's some little bit nicer houses. And then you get back here to where we came through, and I can imagine that has been in their family for like a couple, 3 generations. And it just, when you think about it, it's like reflective of what is happening to America. Just the quality of life is diminishing just every generation has to, you know, now the trailer park is considered just having a place to live is like considered a luxury now. There's the trailer park, and you would never think that this place is even back here. You just see this gate and you're like, don't think anything of it. They've got themselves an estate. It's more than a house, it's an estate. I'm guessing this is not the way they come in and out of here too often. It's probably not the driveway, kind of the utility driveway. And we just turn down this little road right here, back to the boat. You can see that truck right there, guys. Just pulled up, must be the neighbor. They probably share this dock. And he just pulled up, and I just explained to him that I got permission. And he said, oh yeah, no problem. Need a ride? I'm like, no, the beagle needs a walk. Don't you? Always. When's the next time we're getting off the boat? And this walk you get to go fetch treats. You know, this is reminding me how blessed I feel that I have a little piece of property that butts up to a waterway in my little town in Ontonagon in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the UP. I have a little piece of property that I picked up. What's it now? Like, I guess it's been about a year, maybe two. I have to think about it. But got it real cheap. It was an abandoned property for like over 20 years, and it butts right up to the Ontonagon River. Sorry, guys, there's flies back here. And it butts up to the Ontonagon River, and I can park a boat right in front of my house. And it's like a strange comfort to know that that body of water connects to Lake Superior, and Lake Superior connects to the other Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes connect to the St. Lawrence Seaway, or, you know, all the rivers that go south. And theoretically, given enough time, a person just could go anywhere in the world from your doorstep if you have access to a body of water, I guess right in front of your house. I feel very blessed for that reason. I know it sounds kind of strange, but I do, especially because I'm poor and I probably don't even deserve it. I just got to chat with that guy for a little bit. What a cool guy. We were just talking about where the world's going, and we were on the same page. That was really refreshing. I guess that dock and that property belongs to a doctor, and he must let you know, good old boys crab out there. So, but yeah, what a cool little stop. This one worked out really good this time. And you got your walk, you little spoiled brat. It always feels so good when you have all the gas cans filled. You got enough food for several days. Just feels like you can just relax, go slow, and just stop whenever you want, and just be free. It just really puts the exclamation mark on the free. You're free for a while, anyways. Until the next time we got to get gas. Heading back out to the ICW, right around that corner. We've been seeing this beautiful steel trawler. They're out on the ICW there. We saw them in somewhere in Florida, docked up in a marina. Oh, it's gorgeous. If we catch up with it again, I should give you guys a little. We should just walk around it. It's absolutely beautiful. I know this just looks like another, you know, sandbar or something, but this is actually kind of rare down here in the tidal lands, in the lowlands. This is like the first one I'm seeing in quite a while. I'm tempted to go and drop anchor and go walk around it. So I just took a screenshot of the local tide tables, and what I'm trying to do is judge coming out of the inlets and back into the intercoastal without, let's see, how do I describe this? Like when the tide is going up, and so I'm kind of going with the tide back inland into the intercoastal, and not fight it when it's flushing out back into the ocean. Now I know there's going to be people that watch this video and they know this stuff, they grew up with it and stuff, but I've never lived in places with tides, so you know this is all just new to me, and there's a lot to know about tides and currents and stuff like that. But I think I'm kind of understanding the basics of it. And so probably what we're going to do is try to find a little spot to kind of wait for a while so I can time it, because as we're doing it now, I would be just fighting the tides again, and it's just wastes a bunch of fuel. And so I'll try to explain it more as I understand it more. The East Coast is going to be about that for quite a while yet. I'll try to just explain this a little more. So we're coming in right now. We're basically at high tide in about 30 minutes, and we're coming here on the intercoastal, right? Now, if 30 minutes from now, if I'm around this area and I start going back in, all of this is going to be flushing out. Right here where my finger is, the intercoastal is going to be flushing out to the ocean. And so we'd be beating up against the current that's flushing out to the ocean. Now, if we wait a while and we let it settle into low tide, and even starting letting it come back in, we would be kind of going with the current back into the intercoastal. So hopefully that helps to make sense with that. We're gonna go right over here and wait out the tide before we start going up this side. Let's see how this works. We're gonna figure this out together. Okay guys, so I just dropped anchor. Actually, I didn't go over here. I kind of came back here because we're out of the wind more. And I'll just show you what we're doing. So I just dropped anchor for a bit. Real easy. Kind of in a windbreak. Here's the ICW right there. And we are going to just do a little experiment and see if we can make the tide and the currents work for us. Right, Wavy? While Wavy and I are sitting here waiting for the tide and the current, I see a sailboat over there, and I've used the binoculars to kind of hone in, and I don't see that they have an anchor out. I think they're just motoring, kind of holding against the current, and I think they're doing the same thing. We'll find out. Okay guys, so we just pulled up anchor. I had to refit. I'll explain when we stop. But now it's getting kind of, I'd say halfway through the flushing tide or the down tide or the receding tide or ebbing tide, however you say it. And we're heading we're going to try to cross the inlet. 2 of them, I think, if we have enough time. So stay tuned. We'll just see how this works. I'll just, as we're doing this, I will give you the real first-hand account of whether this is a good idea or not. Okay, you can see we're right there. What I'm trying to do is get past these 2 inlets with minimal tide. It's not easy. As we're pulling out of here, I noticed that sailboat. Let me see if I can give you a clearer picture. That sailboat turned up on its side. It must be touching bottom. Not good. You can see that we're making good time. Anything over 5 miles an hour at low RPMs, which we're at now, maybe 2,000 RPMs, we're doing pretty good. We got the wind at our backs, and we've got a little bit of current behind us, but that makes sense because we're still going towards the outlet. So once we turn up here is when we're going to find out whether our gamble worked. Let me try to explain this just while it's still in my head. I keep forgetting to turn on the camera and tell you guys this. So it's been really windy the past 3 days or so. See, this is going to be kind of tricky too, because when you come through at low tide, it means that you don't have a lot of depth to work with sometimes. Like right now, we're only in 7 feet. That's more than enough, but sometimes it'll drop out from under you. Like I can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you see that red sign there. If you see right behind it, that's actually like less than a foot of water right there, and that's low tide. That's what will happen. So you want to stay away from that stuff and really follow your navionics and don't cut any corners, which we're not going to do here. Okay, they must not have been grounded, or they came off. That's good. Probably waiting for the same thing as me. Good job, guys. I kind of compare it to escaping a vortex. It's like when you get close to the ocean, it's just trying to suck you in. It's like, you know, and it'll throw out water for you to grab on. to it. It wants everything. It's like a claw. It's just like, it wants the land, it wants the boats, it wants the people. And you have to escape its vortex. Man, the wind gust right here is hammering. I'm hammering what's left of the current and some wind gusts, trying to show it to you. It never comes off well on camera. You just never get the gist of it, but trust me. We're doing about 4,000 RPMs. We've got some throttle left we can throw at it if we needed to, but I tend to just, if I'm doing anything over 3 miles an hour, I consider it a win. We came up to under 3 feet there for a second. There must be a really thin channel coming back into the ICW here at low tide. This is the first camps or houses that I've seen, I think, since we've entered Georgia, really out here on these tidal lands, these lowlands. They kind of go all along this island here, but I'd be aiming the camera into the sun. But that's a good example. It's a very just modest little cabin right there. It's not like some multi-million-dollar mansion like you might see out here, or just in remote places sometimes, islands. Okay, so I'm going to show you this while I got the opportunity. We're going by the next inlet, and it's 6:17 right now. We're right on the nose of being low tide. So coming into it now, let's see if it's an easier jaunt back up into the ICW here, because we're not fighting the ocean. Okay, so I can actually come out on the deck here for a second. We've got tailing winds. The wind is pushing us along, which is nice. And we're going across the top of this inlet. We're aiming for that right there. Out that way is the ocean on this one. And then finally, this is going to break my heart. Do you see that lighthouse? I'll put on the screen what lighthouse that is that we will not be able to see. And trust me, it breaks my heart more than it breaks yours. I love lighthouses, but I don't see any way we can get out there. Doughboy Sound. That's what it says on Navionics, and that's what it is right there. This island is called Sepulveda Island. I've heard about that. Now I've heard that this sound up here is kind of tricky. So we'll find out probably tomorrow. Okay, so when you start turning up back in the ICW, that's when we're getting the worst weather. The wind's hitting us from the side on port. So at least it's throwing the spray this way. We did get a little bit inside, but it's okay. Not just a little bit. You can see it going right there. And we're still doing pretty good clip, about 4.5 miles an hour. I don't think we'd be doing that if I didn't wait for the tide to bottom out. So I'm starting to think that this, I got it. I understand it enough to get by these inlets until we get out of this region. I'll keep paying attention and dialing it in, but yeah. Ride the tides in, then wait it out, find a place to wait. Here, let me turn the phone around. Ride the tides in, but stop before you get actually into the inlet. Let the tide go out that you were riding on, and then it bottoms out. Or ideally, if it's timing that right, wait for it to come back in, then you can kind of ride it back in. Then you're coming back into the system off of the ocean and letting that force at least not work against you. And I think if you do it right, it'll even work for you. So I'll keep figuring this out. I'll keep sharing it with you guys. This is Shanty Boat on the Great Loop. We're doing 4.5 miles an hour on average. And you can see right there, we're going back in the ICW, and down this way is the inlet. The ocean. So yeah, we tried this a couple days ago and it did not. We were having to fight it big time. So this is good. Okay guys, this will be the last thing I say about this. I just want to make sure you understand, those that don't. So you can see, how it's low tide there. Usually it's several feet higher, goes up to that grass. just like 3 hours ago, this area was flushing out to the ocean, and we're coming in here on basically low tide. I gotta go in here and steer. And it's slack. It's like a piece of cake. We're just idling along. We're at like 2,000 RPMs right now, doing around 5 miles an hour. So yeah, this is the way to do it. You got to pause sometimes, take a couple 3 hours off, but it'll save you a whole lot of trouble trying to fight the currents. We are going up to right there. See that little green symbol? I think that's where we're going to anchor tonight. Okay guys, our timing was just fantastic today. I'm going to turn the phone around and show you. You can see the sun's going down, and we're going to anchor right in here. The ICW is just right around that little spit right there. I got to watch out for these. You always got to watch out for those. Yeah, I'm going to throw the anchor, then I'll show you guys. Guys, we're sitting there at anchor, and all of a sudden I see a bunch of light, and there's a let me go out here and show you. The windows are filthy from all the spray, all the saltwater spray, but look at this. I wonder if I'm in his way. Let's see if we can get around me here. It's a big shrimp boat, I think. I hope I'm not in his way. I can't tell. I think he has plenty of room to get around me, but let's see. They'd let me know, I think. Maybe I should turn my radio on. Good morning, guys and gals. Welcome to Tidal Lands, Georgia. It's been blowing like crazy. We've had a windstorm happening for like 3 days, but it's calmed down today. Bringing Wavy to shore. I'm going to turn the phone around and show you something kind of important. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably already know this, but always remember there are people that don't, including me, up until recently. So you see, I'm on this little, you can call it a beach, sort of. It has all these oyster shells, right? Now, a lot of these, the tide's out right now, so we can't hang out too long. And I had to bring Wavy somewhere so she can do her business. Now, when you come to shore, if you have a dog with you, and this is your only option, you're out here and there's basically, there's a lot of tide in this part of the country, like 10-foot tides, okay? And your options for bringing your dog to shore or just going to shore yourself if you need to. I would recommend picking these beaches that have these shells, because what it does is it kind of stabilizes the mud, so you can it'll support your weight. If I go over just right there where there's not a lot of shells, I'll sink like a foot. Who knows, maybe more. And if you try to go on some of these beaches that don't have the shell buildup, I'll try to zoom in on one right over here. Like we're looking at that one from the boat. And that one you could potentially sink up to your knees or waist, or who knows, but they might be bottomless. I've heard some of them are, and you could get stuck and the suction will just hold you in and you have nothing solid to pull yourself out on. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you, but it is something to consider here when you have to come to shore in places like this. I'd say, your best option is pick these little shell beaches, because they're kind of forming a layer over the top which will support your weight. And Wavy, of course, is on some kind of scent, and she wants to go into this labyrinth. She just blazed a labyrinth of grass in here. I'd never see her again. Literally never see her again. And just while we're here, I'm going to try to give you a quick example. So, by the way, if you need some water shoes for going to shore, High Seas, link in the description. They were nice enough to send me a couple pair, and they've been working fantastic. Okay, you can see, look, I just pressed down. This is some serious mud. It's more than mud. It's something. It's just, you do not want to get stuck in it.
With Brenton and Wavy, where the rivers run deep and the trails are kind of shady. With every step we take, another memory unfolds. In the heart of the country, where the spirit never grows old. From fishing in the creek to laying in the grass, life's simple pleasures in moments that pass.
Would you please poop?